to start recording. I sent out a reminder just now to everybody. Hopefully we can get some, even if they're latecomers. I know that we had a few people that already told me that they couldn't be here today. But I'm also just putting on your calendar. If you can join us in person, it'll be an opportunity to meet the artists on June 13th at 10, I believe, at 10 a.m. for the media preview. So it's a really good opportunity for them to interview, curate. This is for the media. So we'll also have a photographer there who'll be doing portraits. So maybe if we have all of our curators on site, we could do a portrait of the curators, which would be kind of fun. We could do, um, you know, interviews, hopefully, on the vision of the project and all the things. So anyway, hope you can make it if you can be there. That'd be great. Hi, MJ, welcome. She's been She worked really hard also for us for the Basquiat event that we just recently had. So thank you for being here. I'm going to just get started for all the folks who, even though you can't be here today, this is for you so that you can just be informed on everything that's going on. We have been doing, well, we went live on our Instagram. You probably saw the grid, and it looks beautiful. I'm really excited about the way it turned out. Leia did a really nice job on that. So I'm going to share that with you just so you can get a sense of like how we're presenting everywhere. And so this is our grid as we went live. Please like our Instagram page and share it and all the things, share your artists, of course. We'll be making introductions very shortly. It's just been a whirlwind with our Basquiat event, which was a success. It was really, really great event. But I just wanted to share, all the work that's been going on behind the scenes as we launch. We also have our marketing toolkit, which I'll link you all to so that you can also share it here. So, you can share something like, hey, I'm so proud to be part of this project, etc. Please don't forget to get your tickets, etc. Right now, we are still in early bird mode, early bird ticket price, but basically gives the event basic information. And then there's the media kit here, which has the press release and press photos, all the social media graphics that you just saw on the grid, Instagram story layouts. Also, highly recommend adding this to your signature as you are part of the creative team. So you can add these to your signature at the bottom of your emails. It's kind of fun. So you have the creative team, your featured artist, featured cultural partners, and featured sponsors. So you're on the creative team. And then there's the ads, which we're almost done with here. So all these ads are going into San Diego Magazine, Playbill, Ranch and Coast, and then we've got a bunch of digital ads going out like on KPBS and other places. These are what the ads are starting to look like for your reference. And we've got GIFs and other things going on there too. So I just put the link in there for all of you. There's copy options here. Hey, we're excited to announce, etc., with all the hashtags needed. That's just a little behind the scenes stuff. So we're moving. We also visited the, let me get into, so we also visited we did a site visit with our logistics team, and I have a really good sense now of what's possible. I feel really good about it. That would be another opportunity for you if you can be there on Thursday the 13th, is you're going to get a sense of, I know it's really hard virtually to really get a sense of the space, especially if you've never been there before. But we figured out like where the entry points are. So I'm going to show you some of all of that virtually. Some of you who have been here, who are not on the call right now, who have been to the site, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, but it's a little bit esoteric here if you have not. So where is it? I just had it open. It's Okay, so let's see. I'm going to start you off here. Okay, so what you're looking at here is Commercial Street, and this cross street right here is 31st Street. So we're actually not going to we're not going to start as far as this, but this is where people will be waiting in line before they check in. So it's kind of fun that there's going to be like a line of murals, you know, that they will be encountered that by. This is actually the opening point of the festival. So this mural lineup kind of continues. And then this will be the starting point. So here is the recycling center on along Commercial Street. We're going to have a DJ right here plugging in and sort of creating some vibe there. So here's a better photo of that entry point. The murals will be like right there where we were just looking at. And so this is where we'll set up like our check-in table, the security check, all the things, you know, scanning, all those things. What's nice about this as the check-in point is that we have access to electrical right here for charging, and, you know, like a charging station we have, we can hook our Wi-Fi and plug it in directly right here. So it'll make it really easy for us. And then as you continue, so this is still that same space here. As you continue, so here's that space that we were just talking about right here. What's going to happen here is that you're going to have a line on a diagonal of lowriders. So it's going to be a lowrider show, car show all along this. That's what's going to be welcoming you to the event. This area all the way to like where my little cross here is going to pretty wide, is going to be where the fence happens. So there's going to be fencing all along here, be closing the parking all along the street. The trolley is kind of like closer to where this wording is along the very, very edge. So we've got plenty of space here, all of this. And all along this fencing is a visual art exhibition opportunity. So we have artist John Morales, who does these beautiful large scale portraits of the Logan Heights community. And they are probably 6 feet tall banners, high res, beautiful portraits. And so along the right side, or if you're entering, it'll be along your left side, you'll see a row of lowriders. And on the right-hand side, you're going to see these portraits of the community over here. Very artful, really cool. And so that would be kind of the end point. This is the end point of the lowrider show. And then you start getting into this very wide area. Even though you see trolley tracks here, these are dead. These are the ancient tracks that used to be functional, but they're not. So don't worry that we're getting close to the trolley or anything like that. But anyway, the fencing comes all along basically the edge of this photo, pretty wide berth here. And so this would be a really good starting point for the puppets, the large scale puppetry daytime program. It could be the dramatics performance, for example, just something that as you're entering the space, you're welcomed by creativity, like as soon as you arrive. So that's kind of the big sort of wow factor welcoming point. So that's where we were right now. And then this is 30th Street right here, which will be closed. We're closing all the way right to here, which is the alley. And you'll see a better photo of it later. This is a very old photo. It's a Google shot. And so now there's murals here. There will be brand new murals that are being installed here and also here. Excuse me. By the time the festival is live, there will be all brand new murals here and here. So that'll be like really bold and colorful. And then we're going to have food trucks all along across this way and across this way, as well as vendors that kind of start off from this point onward. We'll have some vendors, artisan vendors, all from the community here and here. Right here, you're going to see a bar area. And then inside of this environment, there's a portable pole that it's like a movable pole, self-standing, that we're going to hook right here, and then hook string lights all across here to this uh, barn door kind of space. So just to create a little bit of like environment there. There'll be cool seating and carpeting and all of that just to kind of create a vibe here. So it'll be a really nice place to kind of hang out, eat some food, get some drinks, all that stuff. So this will be that kind of environment. The reason I'm sharing this one with you is because I feel like this could also be a performance space opportunity. And I'm not 100% sure if that will work, but that's the work that I'm going to be doing in the next few weeks, is just really nailing down all the locations and what our needs are. But as a backup, I feel like this could be a really good performance space, especially since we already are going to have a bunch of seating here. It could be great for just like an individual artist, or maybe even the drum circle could, or the drum circle, I'm calling them that, but the percussion group perhaps could also, activate this space. But of course, we have to think about AV, sound, lighting, all the things. So this is the other viewpoint from that. So we were just standing over there. Now we're over here where the alley. So the fencing will cross this way. And then what I want to point out to you here, this is all has murals on it now. But there's an entry point right here. There's a door right here, which is an entry point to behind the stage, an area that's behind the stage of the soap factory. And that area is quite large and nice and dark. And so it's a really good opportunity for like one of the multimedia art installations back there. And what I like about it is that you can enter through this area here. One other thing that you should note, I'm going to go backward. Now we're looking at it from the commercial street side again. So we were just here. And so that's that little door that I'm talking about here. But what's really cool now is that this door opens now. This gigantic barn door now opens. So basically you're entering through this corridor of lowriders. You're welcomed here. You turn and enter this environment of vendors and food and drink and all the things. And this is going to be your main entry point to the festival right here through these big barn doors. That's going to be the main entry point. It's just another viewpoint from the alley side. Here's that door that I was just talking about. And so you can see the width of that space is really quite large. And then the depth is 3 times that size. So we've got a lot of space there. Okay, now we're back on this side. There will be no entry access through the main door of the soap factory. All of this will be closed off. This is fencing. All of this here will be fencing. We're trying to identify where would be the best location. I guess one thing I'll share too is that right here is going to be the bathrooms. So we're going to put the bathrooms outside of the space with a security guard here. And of course, like I said, there's fencing, all this. So you'd have to exit, and then there'll be a row of bathrooms here, portable bathrooms. We're trying to identify the best location for shared, what do you call this, like Uber Lyft, like an Uber Lyft drop-off point. Since we've lost all the parking for the space, we're going to be activating the parking environments. Then now we're looking at where, we need to provide a safe, locale for that. So it's either going to be kind of somewhere near this environment, or it's going to be all the way at the starting point over there where the murals were. That one all the way far there seems like the best for me.
I feel like the at the starting point is probably the best option, so that they can experience that warm welcome that you want them to have walking in.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's going to be, the case. And so in that instance, we might have to put the fencing all the way to 31st Street. The only component about that, and it's just a logistical thing, it's not a big deal, but that corner location is a towing company's parking garage. And so they need in and out access to that space all the way to 7 p.m. And so it's just something that we'd have to keep, we'd have to open up the fencing for them each time that they needed to get in and out. So it's just kind of one of those like logistical. We monitored that last year. There wasn't a whole bunch of activity. And in fact, they just at the end of they ended up, I think, only at the very end of the night needing access. So we'll keep working with them and we'll see how that works. You guys don't have to worry about that. Our logistics team will worry about that. Okay, so these are just other viewpoints. Okay, so from here, this is now the other side of, this is not soap factory property anymore. This is the back end, which is the artist residencies, and this is that additional property. But I'm just showing you, like, we could potentially also close off this area if we needed like other type of space, like you know, volunteer check-in area, or like a first aid you know, first aid center, or a, you know, green room potentially, if there's something that like on site we're so tight on space that, you know, we still have potentially, if we needed it, this is an option for us where we could continue closing the street, tent it up with, you know, walled tented environments and create green rooms for people, or, you know, so these are just things that we're thinking about in terms of accessibility. And then on site, I don't have a whole bunch of photos of the property itself. Oh, let me just, I just downloaded some, hang on. Let me just drop these in here real quick. Here to here. So I have very old photos of the soap factory right now, but it's okay because logistically it's similar enough that we can kind of work from it. We'll take better photos next time that we're on site. But once you enter the soap factory itself, here. So once you enter the soap, oh, actually, I'll start here. Hang on. So you would have entered, okay, so we're talking 30th Street is along here on the other side of this barn door, right? There's this gigantic barn door that opens up, so that'll slide open, and this will be the main entry point to the environment. So you'll be entering through here. This is now like a real stage. It looks a little bit different, but it's like a real stage here now. And the behind all this stage area is that dark room that I was talking about that has its own entry point from the outside. So that's what all of this space is. We probably truly could only activate from here. Oops. Sorry. From here to here. This is probably the mostly the activation point. Over here, you have some stairs that take you to a second area. And over here, you also, underneath, you have a kitchen area. So not logistically feasible for us to like do that. But I just wanted to give you a sense of like, okay, you'd be entering through here. Now, what's really nice about this space in terms of people who have produced like theatrical events, you're kind of my people. You probably understand like how easy it is to create environments and systems to compartmentalize areas. And so I'm planning on we own some very large, like 20-foot, maybe even longer black like curtains, like theatrical curtains. We also have white ones. And so anyway, I plan to kind of segment this off a little bit. So the stage actually ends right about here, at this point here. So we could do a hanging system all across here to create a division that takes this line. And then we could also use another one that kind of breaks it apart this way. So that if this is the performance area here, then you're actually entering a space, right? You're entering into an enclosed environment that is its own performance space. So that when you're entering through the festival, you're not necessarily like immediately confronted by the middle of someone's performance. You have to enter into the space in order to experience it. A second reason for doing that for me is that it creates this second corner here that is a possible exhibition space. And I'm thinking about someone in particular, Jax, who does these large scale installations, immersive installations with hair braids. So it's like these big cages of hair that you enter into her environment. And so if we darken this space, I think that could be kind of cool and dramatic here. And this door would open. And so you could enter this exhibition environment and then continue on and enter the back room exhibition environment, which would be like, this one is nice and dark. So you could really do like any of the virtual, the multimedia experiences back there. Or you can squeeze both of them into there potentially as well. So that's what we kind of have to figure out. But I like creating kind of an enclosed area. You also have these high backed seating, and you could and we have enough of these super high back. They're like up to your head when you're sitting down. So that we could also create that like back row of those all the way that kind of encloses this entire area like this. And then over here you would have like, an open area where people are just like arriving, kind of experiencing the space, where the bottom of this images would be the entry point to the actual enclosed soap factory space, which is this. So this is me standing and looking from that entry point. This is all very different now, but right here you have a small stage. And then all around here you have tabletops, two tops that can seat 2, 3, up to 4 people tightly, but it's really designed for 2 people. But you have a series of those here with seating, and then all along the left side you have the main bar area. So this area we're proposing to be the short film festival experience, and potentially also some of the spoken word. So there's lots of room in here for that, and this will be a continually active space. Okay, so now going into the main site. Okay, I took photos of like these like quirky corners and things because I love the transformation of spaces, as you know. So as you exit the covered area, you'll encounter 2 things. You'll encounter this open area, which is a garden area. So there's like these wonderful like garden plants and gardens and everything. And then you have this little, what they call the soapbox. And it's just this little elevated platform. And it also has, let me see if I got a picture of it. Here's a good photo of it. So here's a good photo of it at night. So this little elevated area would be great for like a spoken word artist. It would be great for a single theatrical, one person sort of performance or show, or theatrical performance or something like that. So and you have these benches everywhere that we can use to our benefit. We can move them around anywhere. They're actually really heavy and hard to move, except for the fact that they just purchased what do you call this?
Dolly.
Forklift? No, a forklift. So now those are actually really easy to move. So we can move these around anywhere we want. We can also move this box anywhere we want. And so that makes it nice. Like we can angle it. I don't want to do too much of that. I'd rather not make our life more complicated. I think the positioning is just fine, but they mentioned that it is possible. But anyway, you have these garden planters that kind of exist all enclosing this little environment. And so for the steamroller screen printing, the steamroller would roll across this area here on this side of it, but the activity area would be on the opposite side of this little garden path here. So we'd line a row of tables here for the activity part of it, and then the rolling would happen on this side of it. That's how it would have to happen. But anyway, this is another performance opportunity space. It's also could be possibly another exhibition space for, we have these portable fences everywhere, these segmented pieces that we can install pretty much anywhere. So if we wanted to enclose the space even further and install like Natalie Gonzalez's Tendederos exhibition, for example, all the way around it, that could be really fun and create a really colorful environment. We could, of course, the obvious one choice would be to hang the steamroller screen prints all along that area and just envelop that whole area in this screen prints. Another component is that this whole area back here will be the, gosh, help me with this, MJ. What are those called again? It's like a living wall. I forget what they're called. Aquaponics. So it's like an
Yeah, there you
aquaponics
go.
system. Yeah, I was like, what is that word? So this whole back area is going to be an aquaponic system of green plants that are fed through fish that will live all down below. Anyway, by the time the festival is live, this is going to be beautiful. This whole area is going to be a show unto itself. So it'll be a really nice environment here. And then let's go. So that's this in the daytime, not activated, just showing you the amount of space that we have. We have a lot of these little mini fences, and then we have the super tall fences that we can kind of use to guide people toward paths that we designate, or how we want the experience to go down. Okay, and then this is the area behind that little soapbox. So here's the soapbox, here's the aquaponics that I'm mentioning here, the system. It'll be almost done, but we've got quite a lot of space back here, and that could be an opportunity as well if we're talking about just creating little kind of surprise experiences. Like if you turn a corner, all of a sudden you encounter a something here. And so of course, I was trying to get away from the idea of tenting. I still am, but to some extent. Oh, Sarah Brick is forklift certified. Get out of here. You're amazing. That's awesome. You guys are so cool. But yeah,
Yes,
even though I'm trying.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm
Go ahead.
scissor lift trained too, so I can operate a forklift
Yeah.
or a scissor lift.
See, you're awesome. You're awesome. This is great. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that's great because we don't want to lean too heavily on, we want to be able to kind of take on the project and just get it done, right? Not wait on someone else to be available and all the things. So that's awesome. So this is part of the work that we have to do. Probably the next time that we meet as a curatorial committee, we should meet on site and just nail everything down, tape things down, or measure everything that we need and really, really get a sense of the space. I'll probably also invite you to our next logistics meetings, just so that we can all be speaking the same language. But anyway, I wanted to show you the amount of space that is behind this area that you just saw, which is quite a lot. I feel like there's something could happen back here, even if all it is a green room, a staging area, whatever our needs are, right? But I just want to give you a sense of the space. Okay. And then what I'm showing you, I'm sorry that I don't have a better perspective here. Let's see. Well, I don't have a better, do I? I don't have a better perspective, but what you're seeing here is the back corner of the space has a parking lot that belongs to the tenants. They rent it out, but they offered that for the one day, they'd request that if we can use it, if we can use this space. And so this is like the fencing area. This doubles as our emergency exit. Okay, so this goes straight into the alley. And so this will be obviously, the fence will be open, and there'll be a security guard here, no re-entry, etc. But this has to be an open environment. But anyway, what you're seeing here is the is the fencing to there, and then you turn left, right? So I was just standing and then I turned to the left. So here's the soap factory, gigantic, you know, area with the awning. And then what you see, we're standing on this side of the fence, and then you turn, and this is the amount of space that they have back there. So it's quite a lot of space there. We definitely could use that as exhibition space as well. Or you know, a small performance of some kind. I don't know that we want to lean too heavily on experiences with sound, because these poor neighbors, we don't want to do that to them. But an exhibition space we certainly could pull off here. We've got the fencing already kind of at our service there. Okay. What you're seeing here, let me see if I can get a better. So I took a photo of this car that's here right now, because so they adopted this old little minivan or whatever it is, and they want to turn it into a, they're transforming it right now into a, what you see here, this is a ¿cómo se llaman? The like a fire pit. This is like a little fire pit they've got here. And so they want to just kind of transform it into a space that you actually want to hang around. Who knows if they're going to pull it off or not, or if it'll end up in the junkyard, but they're working on it. They love being creative with, you know, transforming the old to new. But I took a photo of this because of that actor who is doing a version of the Telltale Heart, El Corazón de la Torre, from Tijuana. And he specifically asked me, he's like, you know what? I would really love it if you could find me just like an alleyway, or like some area that looks really beat up or really like junky, that I could just, because the whole point is that he's like lives on the streets, right? So we want to, he's looking for an environment that looks like he's like living in the streets. And this is actually pretty perfect for that, you know? And what's nice about it is that if we could create a whole environment around him with like little beach chairs or something, you know, in a semicircle, kind of create a little seating environment. And we can place this anywhere. Same idea. We can lift this and place it anywhere. But I just thought that that could be like a perfect thing for him. And then I just want to bring your attention to this big shipping container here that says Soap Factory on it. What I'm about to show you is what's between the fence on Commercial Street and this thing right here. So that's so here's the inside of that thing. So that's that shipping container right here, and then this environment. So we've got a lot of things that we can play with. Like this is some of that fencing that I've been talking about. And yes, like I feel like it would be a pain in the butt to have to ask them to clean all of this out. However, a lot of this stuff will be used for the festival, so it'll be moved anyway. But to probably the halfway point of this, we could move some of this stuff further down deeper into that environment, and then line this out with fabric, and then use this front area as an exhibition space. So it's nice and tight, it's nice and enclosed, it's fairly dark. And it could be, you know, one of those things where you just turn a corner and you're like, oh, you know. So it seems like an opportunity that we could take advantage of. And then the last environment that I don't think I have a photo of. I don't have a photo of it. Is this is the bar area that lines the side, that same side of the fence where the parking was. They have a very long service area that would be used for like bar service, but they would actually prefer to use the those portable rolling bars that they have, and just strategically place them throughout the property. So they would have the main area of the soap factory brick building, that bar will be live and open. And then they would have another one somewhere probably near the garden area or somewhere, and then maybe a third one along the property, and then one on 30th Street. Maybe 4, maybe only 3. So that's kind of like, they just want to spread them out, which means that they would have that entire bar service area open. That's a big question mark right now on whether or not we can use it, because they're thinking about renting those out to other vendors. And so it's a possible opportunity, but it'll be like, it's not 100% guaranteed. So I would like for us to kind of consider the other options before we go into that as a need. Okay, so right now I'll stop talking. I've been talking for a long time. Do you guys have questions to this point? Questions or suggestions or anything right now?
Yeah, I have a question. For the vendors, like the local vendors, do we already have that like established?
No. So Chris is going to be managing that, and if you have a vendor that you'd like to recommend to him, definitely connect them. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you know a lot of
Chris
people.
from Soap Factory?
Yeah, Chris Sanchez.
Okay. Oh, Chris Sanchez.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll get with him on that then.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know you know a lot of great people, and we'd love to have them for sure. And it's super, like, he's going to make it very cost effective, super, super cheap. Last year was trickier for us to secure vendors because we didn't know if we could bring in thousands of people, and now we know we can. So things have changed, right?
Okay.
Now he really thinks that he can secure a good lineup. Last year was harder because they were like, I
Yeah,
don't
and
know,
then
500 people might show up.
as far as the bar goes, are we doing full bar or just beer and wine?
I don't know. So Chip is going to be 100% in control of all of that. We're not keeping any of the bar sales. They're food
They're
and
doing
beverage is 100% them. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
I was
that's
just
part of
gonna
our
say
agreement.
yeah, I could talk to him about this. I was just gonna say if they are gonna do like how you said, like a satellite bar situation, I would recommend doing those beer and wine and keeping all the liquor in one place just for
Mhm.
logistics sakes and also just like safety
Yeah.
reasons.
Probably
But I
just
could,
at the main bar, it would be the
right,
only place that liquor could happen, right? Like
right.
actual cocktails.
That's what I would recommend. And then just doing beer and wine stations just because it's going to be a lot easier. You don't need ice, you don't need all these different things. So I could talk to him about that though.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right. And so I want to go through, like, I think the main people. Oh, I forgot to mention. I wonder if I have a decent photo of it. I know I have some somewhere, and I'm sorry that I don't have them at the ready. Here, I'm going to open this one up. So there's another stage that we want to pop up. So if you remember, this is the garden area, and then there's all this property here. And so as we get, I can't really zoom in, but we want to pop up a stage here, like a real, 30-foot stage, actually larger than that. No, 30-foot wide, like a 20 by 30-foot stage with full truss and lighting and the whole thing would be popped up right here. And so that would be primarily for the larger groups like the Rosenbach's Project and the choir, Voices of Our City Choir. So that's where that would happen. And I'm going through the different areas, and I kind of thought, to hit up my curatorial crew with ideas for like what to call these areas, what to call these different stages. We didn't really come up with a theme because the theme of the entire festival is this sort of binational, that we're focusing and highlighting the binational region and the creativity of the binational region. And also, of course, Logan Heights, locals, etc. But I wonder if we could be kind of creative and each of these, like, for example, last year we actually touched several different properties. So we had like the War House, we had the CrossFit gym, so we named it after the properties. So we had like the War House stage, and we had the CrossFit theater and gallery and theater or something like that. And so we named it after the property, the tenants of the property. But in this instance, everything's the soap factory pretty much. And I'd like to kind of be creative and see if we can come up with some unifying theme of the soap factory. Maybe we lean into the word soap or something, you know, or but something where we can name each of these areas. And maybe like the obvious is that the garden area is the garden stage and gallery, or you know, there's the soap factory main stage. So for right now, I just have like very simple you know, descriptions of all of these, but maybe you all have better ideas. So like the main stage for me would be the main stage of the soap factory that already exists. And that's where you have like that carpeted, you know, those quirky seating and all that stuff. Main stage theater, you know, we can call it. We have the garden stage and gallery, because there it
What
will
if we
also be an exhibition.
kind of, since we're doing this like with Tijuana, what if we like do, instead of garden, jardín stage or something, where it's like
El Jardín.
El Jardín, or even like maybe somewhere in TJ or somewhere in the Logan, you know,
Uh-huh.
something to tie in that theme of joining these
The
two,
binationalism.
right?
I like that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that could be really cute. El Jardín, uh, gallery, and well, let's see. Like El Jardín, gallery, and theater. I'm
Maybe
not
like
sure
the
if
main
it'll be a
stage.
performance.
Yeah, maybe the main stage you could do like Frontera Theater or something like that, like Border or you know. I don't know. I could think about it more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna write them down just because it'll get us thinking, you know. Frontera Theater. We have to say La Frontera. Wasn't there, we had a performance last year by, isn't that their name? La Frontera? Oh gosh, what is the name of that theater company? I don't want to call them, I don't want to call it the same as that theater company, but maybe it's not a big deal. So La Frontera, El Jardín, the soap factory. Well, let's keep the soap factory, because they need to have their visibility as well. So that would be, so when I say this means the interior of the brick building. And then you've got the outdoor stage, which is that one that we're popping up.
Yeah, that the
Um,
interior one, we could do it. We could like call it something early girl, to kind of pay homage to Karen, because since she's in
yeah,
that space.
yeah, early girl theater. Yeah, I like that. Early girl theater. And then the outdoor stage could be
That could be the soap factory, or like the soap lot or something like that. I don't know.
so something like that. And then the co-place corridor. So this, for this area, maybe these two are the same thing. These two are probably the same thing. But I do want to have an I mean, so when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the lowrider show and the puppetry kind of welcoming, and the exhibition of John Moralis's portraits. And so Co-Place wants to have its branding too, but maybe they don't. Maybe they want it to be something else. So maybe it's or we'll just call it, you know, it is what it actually is the Commercial Street Corridor for now. And then you've got the 30th Street Lounge. And we are going to turn it into like a whole lounge vibe. There's going to be couches and, you know, a little fire pit and that kind of stuff. But that's what we called it last time. So let's see, am I forgetting something? We've got La Frontera. Now I have to remember where everything is. This was the main stage? Yes. El Jardín, we know that one. And then the Early Girl Theater, that's the in middle one. Then you've got the Soap Factory outdoor stage. I gotta call it outdoor to remember. Commercial Street Corridor, 30th Street Lounge. So I think these are gone so far, right? Yeah. And then we need to have exhibition spaces. So I'm going to call this exhibition space for now, the parking lot exhibition space, just so we remember what we're talking about. And then we're going to create wall areas, walled environments using those portable walls and other systems for temporary exhibition spaces. So that grouping, that conglomerate of exhibition spaces, we should call it something. Oh, and then behind the stage is an exhibition space too. So backstage gallery. Right now, there's not like a unifying theme in all of these, but I'm placing them so that we remember and we're able to kind of slot people in, you know, in some meaningful way. Parking lot exhibition space, backstage gallery, and then we need like that conglomerate of exhibition, that grouping of them. So we'll call it this is just the lot gallery. Create something to remind me what this is. This is like open area pop-up. Okay. So this is going to be this is the evening program right now. I'm going to create a version of this. It's going to be the daytime program. And so not all of these have to be activated for both day and night. What we have to work through is what goes first, what goes next, giving people 2 opportunities to experience each thing. Some of the activations only start up at night. Some of them are only appropriate for the day. Like the circus is only going to happen twice back to back through the day. The puppetry group does want to have an evening experience, so they're going to pop up in the daytime at some point and then also in the evening. Because their puppets light up at night. It's really cool, really beautiful what they do. And then the dramatics group is probably, and also the steamroller screen printing, I think only wants to actually do the activity in the daytime. Or that's what we were recommending to them. And then the exhibition of the work can just happen in the evening, so they can close up shop and open up that space for other things in the evening. So these are the things that we're all thinking about, you guys. I'm talking a lot, but I'm not letting you guys talk. But if you guys have any thoughts, suggestions, questions, you know, recommendations specifically about this, or about anything that you kind of have on your mind, this would be a good time to share it. So I'll open it up. And if not, that's okay. But just in case you had something on your mind, this would be the time.
I have another
Okay.
question.
Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Are we
Go ahead,
doing,
MJ.
is Chris doing like all the food vendors and all of that too?
So we're only getting a couple of, so the food vendor activity will happen through Chip.
Okay.
And we are getting at least 2 food trucks that are going to be on 30th Street.
Okay.
And I actually don't know who's going to manage that. I think it should be Chip also.
Okay, I can reach out. I was just thinking of maybe seeing if Por Vida wants to participate, like having coffee in the lemonades. I don't know if you guys have a coffee vendor or something.
Yeah, talk to them. Chip is the guy who's taking
Okay,
care of like food and beverage. That's his
cool.
entire job for this festival. So,
Perfect.
and Chris is going to focus primarily on like artisan vendors and the lowrider show. That's
Okay,
his
perfect.
task. So yeah, reach out to them
I'll
accordingly.
get with them. Perfect.
Okay. What were you going to say, Sarah?
So my only question really was about the connection with the artist. I know that you wanted to like send out an email introduction Is that
Yes.
still your plan? Okay.
Yes, thank you. And I want to go, maybe we can just take 5 minutes really quick, just to reiterate, because I think there were teeny tiny changes. I haven't done it yet, and it's not for any other reason except for that I just haven't had the time. We were really busy producing this big gala, and like it's 2 weeks ago, and I'm just now coming up for air after all of that, and then we launched. So I'm sorry about that. But so we've got, so the ones that you're assigned to is Debbie and Larry Klein, Doris Bitar, Esther, you're with Diane, and also Jessica from Outside the Lens, Sarah, John Savage, and Laura Luna. Laura Luna, by the way, is working on her PhD, and she was very unavailable for a very long time, but I think she has some breathing room now. Monty doesn't really, so this is a mural walk, which is basically we're just giving people a little mini map to do a self-guided tour of all the murals that are happening, and so that they can just get the information. So nobody really needs to manage that person. Malu, she's sort of self-contained. You won't need a lot of hand holding, but that's MJ. Did I miss MJ somewhere else? Oh yeah, sorry, MJ. MJ, you're with Choke.
Yeah, I had already, I
And
just emailed them myself.
oh great.
Uh,
Thank you.
okay. Yeah, I just
And then
basically.
So that's what I was gonna ask. Susanna, I don't know. I mean, if it's helpful, I'm more than happy to email and, introduce myself, and I could copy you if you like, or if you prefer, to do the
well,
introduction,
yeah, I
whatever.
mean, you know what? If you it's not that it's, I'm happy to do it. I actually would just send out like a group email to you and the artists, and then you guys can kind of take it from there. But yes, if you already have a relationship with them, if you already know them, of course, feel free to reach out. I can take care of that today. I just have not, I really just came up for air, like really
No
just
worries,
now.
no worries.
So MJ, you're with John Morales. He doesn't need much. He's very easy, and he's just going to pop up his things and attach them to the thing. Not a big deal. Okay. And then the performing artists, MJ, I have you with Firme Voices, and So Say We All. John is helping out with these two. Sarah, Common Ground Theater. So we added Common Ground Theater. And so I added this to your lineup of artists. We need to just understand what it is that they're actually going to produce. They said it's like a series of short stories, but I'm not sure like how many actors, like what's the accommodations that they're going to need is my big question for them. And then MJ, you have Sisu Dance Company and Dramatics. Esther, you're with Salvador Corona, and MJ, Sunny Ray with Poets Underground. So some of those might have been new to you. I'm not sure. But that's the final. And we have all the artists done. We're ready to go. Now we're ready to go. The other component that you're going to be now incorporated into, and our interns will make sure that you're copied on all the future communications, is that we've started to put everybody's projects up online. They're not public yet. Right now, it's all just behind the scenes. But I want to give you a sense of like, let me just share with you super quick. I have a couple minutes. So they're starting to look so we're starting to put up the information about all of the artists. So we'll have their main graphic, which will link to their social media page, and then a little blurb that we should get approved by all of the artists. So right now we just copy pasted their proposal didactic and placed it here, but we have to do a little bit of finessing with a little bit of marketing language and make it a little bit more digestible for some folks that don't speak art speak. And then the click to the purchase of tickets. This is what they're starting to look like right now. But ultimately, what we want them to look at is we want them to look like is Let's see, what's a good example? So here, for example, this was last year's event, is we want to make sure that we have the dates and times, the location, which is what we're calling all the things, right? This is what we were just talking about. We're calling it, you know, the soap factory courtyard or the whatever they are. Their social media handles and hours as well. And then also we created these like 4 or 5 just descriptive words of what the people can expect, right? So printmaking, steamroller, art making activity, community building. So we want to capture 4 or 5 words that for each of these will represent what the viewer can expect. So we had here Italian cinema, short film, community, passionate, inspiring. You know, over here we had I don't think we did one on hers because she did the soundscapes for all the pieces. But this one had, like, for example, Mesoamerican dance, sacred rituals, spiritual symbolism. So a super short mini version. And that's what I'm going to ask the curators to kind of help us come up with as you're going through. So we're taking all the language, crafting it into this tiny little nugget, and then we're going to share that with both you and the artist. We'll get the final green light on their didactic, and then if you can just help us come up with those like catchwords, we'd really appreciate that help. And I think that's it for now. Thank you so much. What do I have here?
I have one last question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I heard you mention lowriders there, but there's someone else that's coordinating that. Is that true? Okay, so I'm just curious
Yes.
because
that's me.
I'm wondering.
Well, it's not me. It's actually Chris Sanchez.
Okay, so I'm just curious if you guys are working with Bobby Ruiz at Tribal Streetwear at all, because he's a big part of that, of the lowrider community. And he's your neighbor.
I'm not really. Possibly. So what Chris said that he would do is that he's going to pull in like 3 or 4 different car clubs,
Okay.
and the ones that get along with each other, and
Yeah.
that way they have like 3 or 4 different communities of people that would all come and support. So that's how he's going to curate it. But it's 100% Chris Sanchez. I'm not involved at all in it. All I am is, when I put my name there, all it means is that I'm talking to Chris about the logistics for it. But Chris is really managing that.
Okay, so
but you'll meet Chris on at the media preview. So that would be great. Like if you had a suggestion, you can mention.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm just curious. Bobby is a friend of mine, and Tribal is right there by the soap factory. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
He is fantastic. I don't know if you saw his book. They just came out with a book about it, about Tribal.
Oh, okay. That's so cool.
Jim Duchenne edited it. Yeah, it's great.
Awesome.
But I can ask Chris. That's fine. I'll ask him.
Yeah, definitely ask him. I mean, if he's one of the groups that he was already thinking about, that would be amazing. Because especially if he knows you, because he'll be super supportive, of course. All right, dear. So I'm going to reach out to. Yeah, especially if I'm sure they do. I'm sure it's one of them for sure. You know, if they're right there, they probably see each other all the time. So what I'll do today, make sure my commitment to you is to connect you to all of your artists, just so to get that like initial introduction. And then I'll see you hopefully on Thursday the 13th in person, so you can meet some of the artists in person. Not all of them will be there, but a lot of them will. And of course the media, be prepared that your photo might be taken that day, you know. And anything else that you come up with, feel free to reach out to us. Our interns will also be reaching out to you. I'll connect you. Like the one gal is doing visual artists, and the other one is performing artists. And so that's how we're separating it out. They're all managing their groups. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time. We went over a little bit. I appreciate you. And thank you to everybody who couldn't make it today, but feel free for you to reach out with questions and suggestions for what we to call all these areas would also be really helpful. All right. Thank you. Bye.